Hey, what's up everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so yeah, walking down the street with the other phone in my hand, the temporary one. So I know this isn't going to upload anytime soon. So I don't expect to see this for at least another 24 hours. So it won't be time sensitive, no basketball stuff on this one. We'll talk a therapy session since I haven't had one in a couple of days. I feel pretty good. I'm exhausted, to be honest with you. Yesterday I stayed in trying to catch up on my rest. Didn't do anything really. Did a couple pieces of art. They were all ugly in my opinion. A little rusty there. Not much in the music front, so I haven't done any playlists in about 2 weeks. But that's par for the course. But been keeping up with the Lakers stuff. Of course, the Laker trade that happened yesterday was pretty exciting for everybody, so had some content for that. But really I just been resting, man, after a nice long week of switching out of all of my routines to make sure that I'm available to my family in the holiday season, and of course grandpa's funeral and everything that happened with that. So it's been a tiresome week. Good for the most part as it pertains to what we were trying to accomplish, going well, but definitely threw me off getting up early and then having to get out of the room after I got back. So it's just very exhausting right now. But yeah, man, still wanted to get out and get some rest, some walking in, buy some things, do my little routine, shopping and stuff like that. Did all of that, and now I'm lugging all of it back home, like I always do. So just doing them thing. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff I'm hearing about, but I'm not really paying close attention to everything that I should be, because my interests have kind of taken over a little bit. But I did hear that Benjamin Netanyahu was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and I didn't really have too many things to say. I would love to send my condolences to somebody, but that dude does not deserve them. He really does not. And that's that. I'm not the one that's running around celebrating him getting cancer necessarily, but and you kill babies and stuff, not too many people are going to be feeling bad for you or praying for your betterment. That's for damn sure. And that's exactly what he's doing. So that's that. But I don't know, man. I watch God, man. I don't really know. It's like naturally in a secular mindset, you celebrate stuff like that. But where does it end? In terms of a secular mindset, there are people in secular mindsets celebrating the genocide itself. And I don't particularly want to be worse. I just want to display myself in a way that helps people understand what it is I hope to see in the world, or what I hope to not see, and starts in the mirror. So while my natural inclination is to pop a bottle when something like that happens to somebody like that, my prayerful inclination is to just say, well, that's God's business. That's God's business. And I keep seeing dead babies, frozen babies in my phone, and he has a lot to do with that. They froze because they weren't given an opportunity to be in a safe space. All the hospitals have been besieged and worn down and run down. Gaza is just nothing but rubble at this point. Anybody who's living there is living in unbearable conditions, unsafe conditions to the maximum. And I see his face, and they got our new elected president handing him a key to whatever. I'm not really sure the celebration there, but that type of stuff is just like, man, I try to use my voice to try to bring some sense to all of it. And I ask God to help me do that, bring some sense to all of this backwards world we're in, where there's genocide going on and nobody appears to really have any urgency about holding those accountable who are engaging in it. And that's really what I see there. So I heard there was something going on in Rhode Island. They ain't gonna get no, you're not gonna get the attention on it that you deserve to see. But from what I understand, there's been some type of white supremacists set fire to a bunch of black churches. No terrorism charges. What else is new, man? Anti-black racism is the crux of all racism in this world, if you ask me. It's the daddy of all the racisms. We can talk about this and that, but at the end of the day, it ain't nothing like hatred for blacks, I can tell you that. So that we see something like that going on in our country, what else is new? What else? What am I supposed to say? Oh my God, I'm so outraged. Every story I've heard like that should be outrageous. But at this point, we come to expect that type of energy pointed at us from every direction, including the direction of those we support at times. Anti-black racism becomes natural to the world. And there's many theories that we can throw at that, but at the end of the day, it just is what it is. And then I'm not ever going to be comfortable with it with my ego intact. As a black person, I'm always going to have a problem with it, but I mean, the bigger picture is it continues. It continues. And that's just what it is. So prayers out to everybody who prayed in those churches, who wanted those churches to stay. But as I tell you, what's in my heart to tell you is that the church ain't in the building, the church is in your heart, man. The church is in your willingness to carry out your intentions on fellowship outside of the building. I can't speak for other religions, but I can speak that way in regards to our own. I think it's a different thing for people in different religions, so I won't carry that to y'all. But for us who believe in Christ, we can have church in the middle of the street. We can have church at the DMV line. You know what I mean? It's not, the building isn't as important as the intention and fellowship amongst believers. That's what it really is about for us. So that's what I say, man. I won't disrespect anybody. When it comes to the Muslim religion, they have a different point of view on their buildings and their mosque. It's a totally different thing. And I won't dare tell them that they should look at it the way we do. I don't know nothing about that. So that's what I can say in regards to that. I think it's very healthy not to be tied to things that can break. I'll tell you that, though. I can tell you it's very healthy not to count on buildings to stand as they tumble one way or another. So that's as much as I'll say about that. But you know, man, what else is going on out there? Continued nonsense in regards to the genocide, man. It never changes. 400+ days of that, and many countries supporting it. Others are starting to stand firm in the same trickle-down effect that I thought it would. A little slower than I was hoping it would, but countries backing away from Israel. I think it was China. I'm not sure which country it was, but they removed Israel from their map, their digital map. They don't have it on there no more, just Palestine. You know what I mean? Israel did it to itself, man. Nobody was even paying them any attention. But they had to go through with this intention on destroying the Palestinian people, and as a result, now it just is what it is. Whatever comes from that in regards to your reputation and how people want to treat you, how people want to back away from you, that just comes with the territory, man. You know, I'd imagine those are losses working into their equation, because they are not looked at the same way, and I think that's par for the course. I'd imagine that's something that they should expect to continue, and it's only going to get more difficult, and that's just what they sign up for, man. So I don't feel one way about it or another. It's their business. You know, as long as you continue to engage in that type of energy, there will be losses that come along with it. It's just what it is. So, you know, I mean, human rights, man. I appreciate anybody who stands for human rights, you know. I think there are a million different ways to do that. Some people believe some people got to die in order for other people to survive. I don't particularly have any evidence of that. I don't think that really is a real thing. But, you know, at the end of the day, when we try to speak to the betterment of all people, all children, see people survive, see people thrive and get what they need to survive. And when I see dead babies in my phone, I understand that we're failing at that. You know what I mean? Literally, regardless of why or how that happens or whatever, we're failing. We're failing bad, man. And the excuse that these people are terrorists, the lies that, of course, is being used, you should be exhausted of that by now. You should be exhausted of that excuse. At all, because they're terrorists, they deserve to be tortured and die, and they deserve their children to die and all of that. They should be exhausted of that narrative world. Exhausted. I know I am. So, I don't know, man. I look around, and the one thing that this has taught me is that a lot of people that we see in our everyday lives in America, a lot of them are related to the people that this is happening to. They are related to these people. You know, because I hadn't spent a whole lot of time looking into the faces of Arab people growing up, I did not realize how familiar a lot of their features are to the Hispanic people I see every day. I saw a meme yesterday that said something along those same lines. It's like, what we've come to understand in regards to being awakened to this genocide is how many people are in South America that originate from the Middle East. And I started looking around, I'm like, yeah, a lot of those people look like people from the Middle East. That's because a lot of them are from the Middle East. A lot of people in South America, from Palestine, from Lebanon, from Syria, that's where they found refuge. I did not know this. And I'm like, man, there's a Spanish person I know look just like that Palestinian girl. It's because kin, just like African Americans are kin to people in Africa. It's the exact same thing. A lot of these people are hybrids from Europeans who came to these nations, Arabs who came to these nations, and the natives that were already existing in these nations. Just like Mexicans in America, in a lot of cases, specifically Mexicans, come from a hybrid of Native Americans, Aztec, South American people. But a lot of them look like Native Americans. That's why. And you starting to dig into what's in South America, that's what you're finding. You start digging into what is in Mexico, that's what you're finding. Like, brother, do you know they're doing this? Do you know that you're them? And do you know they're doing this to your people? And you care? It's like, that's why your skin is brown. You come from over there. You them. Your people are originally Arab. It's funny because there's a girl that I follow on Facebook. And this was before I had come to this understanding here. And I looked at her. She had just lost her father very recently, earlier in the year. And he looked Arabic. She said she's from Puerto Rico. But I'm telling you, there was nothing that separated them from Arabs. I've been looking at people in this genocide, of course, throughout that course of that same time. So I'm like, he looks Arabic. Just to come to find out what it is I just learned. There's a lot of the people when he's going to these different Spanish-speaking places on the outskirts of North America, they come from Arabic countries initially. Had to flee those places in the early 20th century. Arabic. She's Arabic. Now look at Cardi B. Cardi B. Arabic. Half anyway. May not necessarily identify as such, but you can look at her, I believe it's her mother, and tell. They're Arabic, yo. They may come from Spanish-speaking countries, but where were they before they got to this country? Middle East. And so it's like, man, these type of things help us understand, like America, we don't really teach each other about stuff like this. Our schools don't teach us about a lot of stuff that matters. They tell us a whole lot about European and Asian culture. Not Asian as in Oriental, but as Asian as in Asia. Which is a difference. They tell us all about that type of stuff, American history, as it pertains to the conquering pilgrims and a bunch of stuff that doesn't really tell the story about people around us and people and where they come from. We just listen to our media and our news outlets tell us who these people are by way of the fear that they pour into us. Oh, the migrants. Be afraid. A migrant just ate a cat. Be afraid. Like, type of stuff. They don't tell us the truth about any of this. that a lot of these people come from countries that America's been investing in the deterioration of. And these people have to flee their countries because of the war-torn nature of it. And if it weren't for American dollars, there would be no war-torn nature to it. They ain't gonna tell you that. It's your fault they fleeing the countries they in. If you would have left them damn countries alone, they wouldn't have to leave and come into your country trying to find a way to live a better life. You made those places impossible for them people to live. Yeah, hundreds of different situations like that we don't know nothing about. All we know is they come over here from messed up places. They likely run in places themselves, and now they want to disrupt our livelihood and deteriorate our white supremacy by mating with their daughters and stuff like that, and ultimately turning white brown. That's all they want to tell my white brothers and sisters in this country, that they're in danger of their immediate lives, in danger of not having their lineage look like them going forward. That's what it's about. Continue to push that fear so they continue to vote into things that ultimately push people out. That's just what it is. It's just lame, lazy racism. That's it. Lame, lazy racism. Ain't y'all sick of the propaganda? Teaching you how to hate yourselves, teaching you how to look sideways at your brother? Ain't y'all sick of this? To all my people of color, aren't y'all sick of this, bro? Half of us have been warped into loving white supremacy or thinking we're not better for moving on from it. Thinking we're not better for moving on from its ways and tactics. As it continues to poison the world all over. It continue to pour fear into us as if we're the ones in danger. Israel-like mindsets. We're going to hurt everybody because we're afraid of somebody potentially, possibly hurting us if we don't. Not thinking nothing about the inspiration of resentment that we are pouring into the people that we're doing this to by doing that in the first place, which basically trickles down to the inevitability of the war that would be coming at us, ignoring the fact that we're provoking it. Aren't y'all tired of this? I, for one, am exhausted of it personally. And I've only been here for 40 years. It ain't been that long. And I started thinking about my grandfather passed away at 96 years old. You trying to tell me I got another 56 years of this if I'm going to follow his footsteps? I don't even know if I want to be here for another 56 years. If this is the trajectory we're going to stay on. Killing babies and all different types of weird stuff we allowing Zionist supremacy to do, and continuing going forward with their bullcrap. Passing forward this example like it's the way to go. Anti-black and brown and Arab racism, anti-Hispanic racism. I'm so sick of y'all, man. Tiresome. You make life not really that fun for people just by continuing and carrying on the way you always have. Life sucks because of you. Literally white supremacy. Because of you. It wouldn't suck that bad if y'all just stopped hating people and stopped moving in the direction for which is catered to the fear that you're not going to be here, simultaneously making it so that you don't deserve to, and that people want to push you out of here. I mean, just literally stop, man. Exhausted. And that's where it's headed. It's getting to a space where I think more people are going to start feeling the way I feel. Dragging out into the world every day, exhausted mentally and spiritually. Like, bro, I don't want to fight this crap for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to talk about how we need to stop this and that for the rest of my life. Or ignore it and be a part of co-signing it because of it. You understand what I'm saying? Silence is violence when it comes to genocide, comes to, terrorism and things of that nature. Silence is violence, man. Not speaking up on it and being so exhausted that you no longer care is a crime if we're measuring things properly in this world. You are literally being complicit to it if you're not speaking out against it, and I'm just not going to let that be my fate. Whether people want to look at that the way they should or not, in today's modern times, I ain't going to go down in history as a guy who was sitting back quiet. Stuff like this was happening. You're going to look on all of my stuff and you're going to see that I was diligent every day on Instagram. I tried every day, post something, and still am. You ain't gonna look back on my digital imprint and see complicity. There's no genocide whatsoever. I don't give a damn what all these people alive are doing today. They all be in their graves tomorrow. You ain't gonna see me being cool with none of it. I ain't gonna do that to my name. I'm not doing it to myself. And I'm not waiting for nobody to tell me it's okay for me not to. Hell no. I'll let the rest of y'all go down in flames as it pertains to your names. Mine gonna be intact. We cared a lot, and we weren't waiting to see if they were black. You understand what I'm saying? I only care about anti-black racism. No, I cared about anti-anything racism. Anything that white supremacy pointed its ugly hands at is exactly what the heck I tried to speak up on in regards to bringing forth some type of humility and humanity toward it. Whatever, whoever. I did not worship money. I didn't worship vanity and none of that stuff. I didn't worship the numbers. All this stuff that y'all doing, it matters so much today. It ain't gonna age well. I don't care. I don't have any love for any of those things that people prioritize in 2024, bro. I don't care about none of it. Humanity matters more to me than anything that I can put in my pocket, man. I promise you that. And I'm not doing it to perform. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, look at me, I care. No. You ain't got to look at me at all. I do this in a room by myself with nobody paying attention. This is what I want to do with my voice and my platform. And just like I want to talk Lakers, you know what I mean? Just like I want to talk about the NBA, I talk about whatever I want. And as it pertains to what I want justice for the genocide. I want to normalize shunning anti-everybody racism. Any kind of racism. I want to shame that shit to the bottom of the earth. That's what I want to do. And anybody that aligns with it who looks like me, I want to make them look foolish as they should be looked by the village around them. It's foolishness. They not gonna love you for loving and being passionate about upholding the evil that they shouldn't be upholding. That's to all my brown people, all my black people who align with white supremacy in whatever way you do. They not gonna love you no more. They not gonna respect you no more for not having any resistance to energy like that pointed at you. You're a coward in their eyes. They may not tell you that because it ain't their benefit to tell you that, but they don't respect you. They don't want you making with them. They don't like what you doing in any way, shape, or form because you're a coward. You're a coward for upholding their nonsense. You're a coward for worshiping their money. You are a coward for cowering in the presence of energy that's pointed negatively at your people by them. You are a coward. You may not want to be called a raccoon, but I can certainly call you a coward. You got to stop that. You can be a product of your environment, but at the same time, you can't just hate your own people or shun your own people or look at your own people like they taught you how to look at your own people. Because when you look in the mirror, you're one of those people. So if you're going to shun your own people, you might as well go outside, strip naked, and lay on the ground, because that's exactly what you're doing figuratively. And wait to freeze to death. Now you might as well. It's going to go down the same way. You're going to be looked at as someone who did. Put it like that. When history tells the story of you upholding their ideals and upholding their supremacy. Making every excuse for why it was okay to harm people that look like you. If you fit the mold of that, the more we go forward into the age of normalizing humanitarian efforts amongst people who would otherwise be warped by propaganda. And the more we get into the digital age, furthermore, people having more digital imprints to look upon in regards to individuals, the more we're going to know and normalize digging into the history of individuals, what they upheld, what they were going for, what they didn't go for, what they were purchasing, who they supported, who they voted for, who they lobbied for. You're going to get more and more into a normal space where people are going to be looking to hold one another accountable and hold one another's ancestors accountable for the things that they upheld in making the world a worse place. I'm telling you. I've been saying this for a year now. I've been saying this for longer than that. And when it comes to people of color who upheld white supremacy, or shunned their own people, or denied anti-whatever them is racism being in existence, you're going to look back and realize what I said was true. The best thing you could have did was stand up for people that look like you. It was the best thing you could have did. Whether you knew it or not, whether you know it or not. The best thing you could have did. Stand up for people that look like you if you identify that way. Even if you don't know anybody that look like you, you'd be best for saying, yo, hey, I don't appreciate this. It'll age much better than what you're doing, I promise you that. And for those who only care about people that look like them, best thing you could do is stop being like that. And that ain't gonna age well. Just the same. You didn't care about Palestinian babies freezing, but you only cared about people who look like you freezing or what have you. It ain't gonna age well. Just tell the truth, man. Those of us who care need to care about everybody. Those of us who don't need to start. Those of us who only care about white supremacy being upheld need to stop. Need to stop. I'm just telling you. Because a lot of the stuff that it's upholding isn't going to age well. People are going to start turning their attention to it. And as they do, people are going to be looking into everything you did when you were upholding it. And no telling what the world in the future is going to want to do in regards to the difficult math. No telling. No telling. But it's going to fall on your kids. It's going to fall on your grandkids and your great-grandchildren's head. Believe me, whatever it is, it's going to fall on them. It's telling people, man. This caring about humanity thing is going to mean something different. The more and more people start to awaken to the modern day genocide we're in, the more people are going to be starting to look back at the old genocides that took place. Shunning the energy that otherwise kept it going. Rebelling against the cultures that otherwise kept it going. You're seeing the beginning stages of it right now. A lot of people are going to be reaching back in the past to hold people accountable for stuff that they've done. It's just what comes of this, man. It's just how this works. Don't ask me how I know it. Just watch how this ages. I tried, man. I tried. I talked to everybody who followed me about this, so you can't say that whenever it turns into what it is I just described, you didn't see it coming. A lot of people who control a lot of things right now that will not control things in the future. A lot of these cultures that we uphold right now that are about exalting ourselves, that perspective is going to evolve, and eventually people are going to realize the world doesn't revolve around them, and then it's going to be normalized to look at the world for the betterment of not only yourself and your section, but everyone. And anybody that doesn't is going to be looked at as problematic or weird. And as we get into a space where that is the case, they're going to look back in the past at people like us, try to figure out what we were on.
Hey, bro, you got a quarter on you?
Sorry, bro, I don't. Mm-hmm. And when they do, you're going to remember this video here. Video 44. Thank you all for watching.